What is recalibration? This is one of the more interesting things that we have seen the Omnitrix do in the Ben 10 franchise, moving from the prototype to the Alien Force watch. But what if I told you that we have seen this more times than just one occasion, and that some watches will never be able to recalibrate? You see, recalibration is defined by Google as to recalibrate or adjust something once, more essentially changing the makeup of it. When the prototype Omnitrix recalibrated for the first time, we see where it got a drastic change. Let's analyze a few things that marked this recalibration as a different watch. Firstly, the most obvious is the design change. Moved from the fatter, bulkier watch to the more sleeker design. Along with that, we had the icons replaced with holograms and a brand new playlist of 10 aliens. And lastly, a less known fact is that the timeout function was taken away. The watch essentially updated and became a new watch, but one could say that that's just it for recalibration. It updates the watch and the playlist, right? Wrong. Recalibration comes in more variation than just that. The reboot shows us as this watch recalibrated a whole 3 times, but for a different reason, and all for a term I'd like to call manual or forced recalibration. In the first recalibration, it was triggered by upgrade when it entered the watch itself. So for those upgrade fans, you can truly get to see what this transformation can do, as it upgrades the watch itself, unlocking master control and also creating another byproduct, which is where it unlocked a new hybridization function, introducing the Omni Enhanced mode. This fuses the DNA cells of the Fulmini with all aliens of the playlist, giving them newer abilities and also merging their powers with electrokinesis. But it doesn't stop there, as in the episode Innervasion, the watch recalibrated again. This was as a result of the Fulmini's attempt at invading Earth. The watch undid the Omni Enhanced mode and returned to the original functions, with a few new aliens in the playlist. But the final recalibration was more of an added piece that already came with the Omnitrix. The Omnitrix key came with the watch and was hidden in Ben's pod, and after using this along with the Omnitrix, he was able to unlock a mode that came with the watch initially, which were the Omnikicks armors. These armors functioned as buffs for the aliens and their abilities, stuff like giving forearms and humongosaur projectiles, and an overall durability and strength buff. A common thread between all recalibrated watches, however, is the change in design. So we can clearly see that a recalibrated Omnitrix always changes how it looks, but the functions aren't always the same. Some other watches we can refer to are the watches like the Omnitrix 10K, where we can see a different form of recalibration. But you see, every single change the Omnitrix had before had a cause. Whether it's the Omnitrix Prime being recalibrated because Ben took it off, or the other watches being recalibrated or ignited by some external factor, but this watch changed in appearance. In theory, because Ben never took it off, and the watch grew up with him and changed alongside him, even adding this special feature of using nanomachines to enhance his abilities. Now, that's all fine and dandy. It seems that the watch evolves alongside Ben, as I discussed in a previous video. But what about the watches that cannot ever recalibrate? Firstly, we speak about the Ultimatrix, made by Albedo. This watch was pretty much deemed as perfect. Albedo's belief in the ultimate function as the superior mode of transformation was a huge factor as to why Albedo would never change the watch. A common factor of recalibration is an adjustment towards a user or an outside factor. But with the way Albedo operates, this watch would never actually end up changing because of that. But what if I were to tell you that the watch had its own minor recalibration? In the episode Ultimate Sacrifice, where Ben started to lose his mind because of the Ultimates, Kevin went in search of the Galvan Gold, and he actually came in clutch, removing the Ultimatrix, extracting the sentient Ultimates, and then reworking the ultimate function. But for a device more worthy of the Tennyson Juggernaut, another watch that will not ever recalibrate is the completed Omnitrix. The watch itself is already perfect, if you ask me. Perfect interface, wider playlist, simpler scan function, and of course, it just looks clean as heck. The watch never needs any adjustments, as we can see that in the far future that Ken 10, who has the watch at the time, has it in the original design. No recalibrations at all. So it seems that recalibration isn't a streamlined and specific transformation of the watch, but it is a variation of different changes that can happen based on a cause resulting in certain effects, and has a codependency on the user that has the watch and the creator's intentions. But click any of these videos here to learn more about Ben 10.